What's up, everybody? Today is September 10th, 2024, and today I'm going to be talking about politics, something that I haven't done maybe in a couple months now. So specifically, I'm going to be talking about United States presidential politics. So for those who don't know, here in the United States, again, it is we're in September 2024, and we have an election, a presidential election coming up in November of this year. So 2 months away, we're going to be voting for who's going to be the next president of the United States. And it has come down to either Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, and Kamala Harris, who's she's from California. I believe she was a district attorney. But anyhow, so I've already given my prediction before that I believe that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States. This video is more so the why I believe that. So basically, right now she's the vice president of the United States. And if something were to happen to the president, the current president, Joe Biden, then she automatically becomes president. But even if that does not happen, I believe she's still going to be elected president of the United States again in November once the election comes. And again, this video is about why I believe she's going to win. So a lot of it comes down to the changing in times, in which I've seen personally myself over the course of my life. So I'm 42 years old, and so I was born in 1982, and so I mean the world has definitely changed since then. Obviously with computers, I'm gonna open my door here because it's hot. With computers and with social things. I mean, just so much different stuff. I mean, obviously there's different foods nowadays, different food chains, so much stuff. You see a lot of stuff over the course of 40 years. And one of those changes that I've seen, kind of broadly in general. So when I was a kid, I remember, this is say in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. If you walked into like a grocery store or I don't know, any public place, any kind of store, establishment, or food place or whatever, and you asked for the manager, say, for example, this is just an example, it was going to be a man, like 99% of the time, maybe more than 99% of the time. It's just like you knew. Basically my point is, back in that time, 35 to 40 years ago, men were in the higher level positions, I guess you could say, again, in management. The high-ranking members of the military were all men, maybe still it is the case today. Or the president of the United States, all men still to this day. Every president of the United States has been a man. There was no even female vice president. That didn't happen till recently. I don't know, maybe more men doctors, maybe more men lawyers, more men judges, etc., 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 okay? And so, again, that was 35, 40 years ago. Now, in 2024, almost basically we're in 2025 now, the year, that's obviously not the case. I walk into a random establishment now, a store, a coffee shop, whatever it may be, and you could pick any one of the, hey, can I speak to the manager? It could be a woman. Can I speak to the head manager, the one that's head of the whole store? It could be a woman, okay? Again, maybe there's women in high-ranking positions in the military. There's more female doctors and more female lawyers and female judges and so on and so forth. So the point in all this little rambling that I'm doing is, the tides have changed and men no longer dominate, again, these higher level positions, whether management and high ranking, whatever. It's not the case anymore. That's not the case. All right. However, the one that has not been cracked yet is president. Again, in the 300-year history of the United States, there has only and exclusively been men presidents. Period, point blank, end of story. And the point of this video is that I believe, after my 42 years of living, I believe that it is finally time. That it's finally going to happen, that we're going to get a female president. And, yeah. So, again, part of that reason, all this, basically what I'm saying so far, I haven't really mentioned anything politics whatsoever. Okay, I'm going to get into that a little bit. But the point is, I'm just, as far as this is concerned, it's the change in tides, and again, basically what women's role is in society. You know, when I was young, and even before I was young, you say in the 70s, 60s, 50s, you know, the further back you go, you know, throughout the 1900s, you know, women's role was, say 1950, I don't know, just say 40s, 1940s, 1930s, whatever. You know, the women's role was, you know, in the household. You know, maybe some women worked in factories or you know, nurses and things like that. But again, women's predominant role, or a lot of times anyways, was to be in the house, take care of the house, take care of the children, stuff like that. And again, over the course of, you know, these decades, that's into the current year, that's no longer the case, right? And women have been fighting for this for a long time. I mean, just take the right to vote, for example. I don't, from the best of my memory, I don't believe women got the right to vote in the United States into 1920, thereabouts. So that's only a little over 100 years. You know, again, in a country where we're like 300 years old, right? So women have only had even the right to vote, let alone hold political office, just the right to vote for only, you know, about 100 years. And so, you know, they've been fighting, say, since then, and before, of course, but, you know, since then, fighting for the rights to vote, you know, equality of other rights and being treated fairly, and all these things. And of course, it's taken a lot of time, you know, again, all the way up into like the 1980s and 1990s. Again, you'd walk into somewhere and it was still predominantly men in these, say, management and the other roles. So they've been fighting it, right? And just in general, again, I'm going to get into the politics a little bit. Just in general, women have been treated, not even just in the United States, and humanity, women have been treated as second-class citizens for thousands of years. I even remember, because I've read the Bible before, and I'm going to paraphrase. I remember there was a scripture in the Bible that said something along the lines of, again, paraphrase. It said, women should be silent during church meetings, and if they have any questions, they should ask their husbands at home. I'm paraphrasing, but that's approximately what was said. But the point in that is the Bible is thousands of years old, and there was still that, you know, again, treating the women as second-class citizens. Hey, you know, you're a woman, you're in church, you have a question, you be quiet, basically. You have a question, you ask your husband at home. Thousands of years, you know, women have been treated as second-class citizens. Against, you know, hey, stay home, you just take care of the kids. Oh, no, women, they can't be a manager. Women can't be a doctor. You know, women can't be this or that or whatever. So they've been fighting. Women have been fighting this for a very, very, very long time. And I believe that it's finally time for a woman to crack that final glass ceiling, as they say, and get into the office of the President of the United States. Again, this is aside all politics. I believe it's not me. It's not me. It's a societal shift to where, a societal shift into equality, equality for genders, equality for races, equality for handicapped people, all this kind of stuff. This all, again, you go back, decades. I mean, even gay people, you go back to, again, 1950s or whatever. Gay people didn't have rights. Disabled people didn't have rights. Disabled people were just thrown into, like asylums and stuff like that, And so, yeah, we're in the modern day of where, different classes of people are fighting for their rights, and women have been fighting for this right, fighting for this, I guess you say right, or fighting for this, I don't know, privilege, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But, they want to obtain these higher positions. There are women who want to see other women in management roles in these higher level positions. There's men out there, I'm not opposed to a female president. I'm not opposed to a female, say a joint chief of staff in the military, or a woman judge, or a woman doctor. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, a lot of people are vying for that. And again, the last glass ceiling in the United States that basically has been cracked. Women are in construction nowadays, where that wasn't the case, again, 40, 50 years ago. Way more women are in, a lot of different jobs. And the final glass ceiling is the President of the United States. And Kamala Harris is really, 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 really close. Again, she's Vice President of the United States. She's the front runner for the Democratic Party. She is this freaking close. And I believe from what I see in the shift of society, what I've seen in the shift in society over my past 42 years of life, I think society is finally, basically what I'm saying is, I believe that society is finally ready for a female president, and she's going to be the one. Okay? That's what I believe. I do believe that. Now, going into politics, kind of supporting my prediction of sorts. Part of that reason is, it's not that she's a woman. The Democratic Party in general, at least right now, so hot button issues in the United States right now, at least a couple of them. Say one is an abortion issue. Really big issue in the United States. A lot of people divided on it. Okay. And basically it comes down to the Democratic Party supports what they say is women have the right to choose with their body, basically what they do with their body in respect to abortion. It's even been called healthcare. Basically a woman's right to choose. That's basically like a decision she's making for her own health. These are things that have been thrown out there. And then on the opposite side, say on the Republican side, the conservative side, is an opposition to abortion, right? Very big issue in the United States. Very divided, you could probably say about approximately 50% of the people support it in some way, say 50% of the people don't. Maybe a little bit higher. I've seen estimates maybe as high as, say, 60% of people support abortion in some way, maybe 40% don't. Whatever the numbers is, there is a shift into, more, just from a woman's perspective, there's a lot of women out there, millions, who do feel that they should have that, I guess, body autonomy, you could say, and to be able to make that choice without the government basically telling them, oh, no, you can't do that, it's against the law, or whatever it is, right? And then obviously some, maybe again, millions of men out there who as well agree that women should have this option, and then again, the opposite side who doesn't, right? And so my point in that is, people are going to vote for Kamala Harris, basically what I'm saying as far as that is concerned. Not just because she's a woman, but it's also, again, another movement, a movement more towards, again, body autonomy. And, it really comes back to, again, how can I say this? So, okay, so I'm not a woman, right? Okay. So I'm gonna go out on a ledge a little bit here. Okay. From just what I have perceived, okay, so with this abortion thing, it feels like, to me, again, this is just a man's opinion, which I could be wrong. I believe that when a woman hears in her ear, like say there's a politician, for example, what's his name? Donald Trump's vice president. What's his name? J.D. Vance or T.D. Vance or whatever his name is. The running mate on the Republican side, Trump's VP pick, right? He's against abortion, big time, right? And so say that guy, he goes out and he says, basically he's saying, hey women, no, you don't have, I don't think you should have a right to get abortion. I think it should be against the law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Again, let's just say that guy is here, Trump's VP pick, and he's saying basically no abortion, right? I think what women hear when it goes from say a politician's voice into their ear, I think that what they're basically hearing is just another man telling them, no, you can't do that with your body. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, again, for thousands, literally, I'm just not exaggeration. For thousands of years, women have been oppressed, treated as second-class citizens. Again, basically, men or society in general telling women, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't be, again, whatever position, doctor, lawyer, manager, et cetera, for thousands of years, you can't do this. Right? And so what I'm saying is, I think when women hear, or at least certain women hear, a politician or even any man saying, no, basically, hey, no woman, you can't have an abortion, what they hear is like, oh, look, it's just another man telling me what to do with my body. That's what I think that they hear. I think that's what it is. My point is, I don't think it is partly about abortion, your right to choose what to do with your baby, the fetus, or whatever that's inside you. But I really, really think that the bigger part is basically, women are sick and tired of men telling them what to do. I really think that's what a lot of it is. I really, really think that's what it is. I really do. I really do. And so again, basically on the Republican side, Trump is kind of like, he kind of wavers on the abortion thing. He's, I leave it up to the states, this and that. But his VP pick is pretty straightforward. No abortion, right? And again, I really think when a lot of women hear that, it's just another man telling them, hey woman, no, you can't do that with your body. And they don't like that. I mean, understandably so. They're tired of it. Again, thousands of years that, they've been oppressed until you can't do this and can't do that. And you can't vote up until 1920. You can't vote. Again, you can't. Oh, I mean, I've seen old TV shows where like they mention about women being doctors, and the characters will laugh. Oh, woman doctor, that's like a joke. That's funny, right? For a long, long time, women have been oppressed, and I think it's like the volcano is finally ready to erupt. They're sick of it. That is my perspective. Okay? Again, I could be wrong. I'm not a woman. I don't know. That's my perspective. Again, the abortion aside, I really think that they're just sick and tired of hearing, no woman, you can't do that. Especially not with your body. And so I think that alone, there's all kinds of political issues. Obviously, immigration is always a big one, and people are always worried about jobs and economy and this and that. But I think, the abortion is going to be a big one. And basically, there's finally a woman on the ticket who's already vice president, who's really, really close, to breaking that final glass ceiling. And I don't know. I just really think it's time. Donald Trump and his vice presidential pick, they almost seem like, to me, man, this video's been going on almost 20 minutes. they almost seem like to me just a very old school. I mean, basically you could have, basically Donald Trump in his VP pick could have just jumped out of 1980 and, the same political ideas, essentially, no, women shouldn't have abortions. And I mean, if they thought that they could get away with it, Trump and his VP pick, they might even say like, oh no, how you say, gay people shouldn't have a right to, they shouldn't be allowed to get married. Gay people, they fought that for the longest time and until they finally got the right to get married and all this kind of stuff. And so my point in that is that the Republican side, the conservative side, just seems like that those old school ideals of basically telling people what they can and can't do. Oh, no gays, you can't get married. Oh, no women, you can't have abortion. Oh, lock all the immigrants up and send them back to the country. This and that. And it just that's what it seems like to me. And then whereas on the Democrat side, it just seems like a more understanding side, like, hey, okay, not necessarily we're for abortion in every scenario, but we're not for a blanket ban on it either, okay? And again, on the Democratic side, yeah, okay, we understand about, having immigration control and, trying to, it's not, the Democratic side is not about, okay, hey, let's open the borders, let everybody in. Democratic presidents have, done their part in trying to, keep out illegal immigrants, whatever. But no one on the Democratic side is saying like, oh, round up all the Mexican people and, send them back. And that's what it feels like on the Republican side. That they're just like, round them all up and send them back to Mexico. And again, like, oh, don't let the gays get married. And, just really, it just feels like on the Republican side, like a lot of these old school ideas. That my point in all of this is these old school ideas that just don't fly no more. It's going to be 2025. The world is not the same world that I grew up in when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, people openly made fun of gay people and there was no repercussions for it. Women were told, no, you can't do this and that job, or, women were told what to do and, they couldn't say anything about it. And, all that, but that's not the case anymore. The world, our country, is not the same as it was, at least when I was a little kid. The tide has shifted. People are sick of a lot of these old school ideas, and I think it's time for a change. And I truly believe that we're going to finally get a female president of the United States, and that's going to be Kamala Harris, who I firmly believe will be elected president this November in 2024. That's my prediction. I think that's going to be my final prediction, my final talk about politics. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.